You know, I think we may make things harder than they necessarily have to be. I'm in my workout spot in my living room floor, and when I work out, I like to scroll through my YouTube feed, and I follow who is arguably considered the greatest bassist of all time, as far as upright bass goes, traditional jazz bass, Mr. Ron Carter. He is in his 90s and is still going strong and playing and moving and walking like he did 60, 70 years ago. But that being said, when I was in college as a young bassist, I dreamed of the opportunity to sit and listen to somebody like a Ron Carter explains how he creates his bass lines. And I thought it would be something mind blowing or complicated or life changing. And he put out a video today about a new course and a new book that he wrote on bass playing. Ron Carter, The Secrets to Building a Bass Line. Um, and I sat down and I was like a fat kid in front of a cake knowing it was all his. I was like, I'm about to listen to the maestro, the master of the bass, teach me how to improve my bass lines. I'm about to get into some heavy shit here. And what he chose to do was a 12 bar blues. And I'm like, okay, a 12 bar blues. That's something that we all know. So we can relate it. And it was a 12 bar blues in F, which, if you're a jazz musician, you know that that is well past being a trope. It's something that, nine times out of 10, if you're called a 12 bar blues in a jazz gig, it's going to be an F. I'm like, okay, well, he's keeping it simple so he can get me some heavy knowledge. And me, I'm not a dummy. I went to college. I know my chords. I know my notes, passing tones. I can spell chords off the top of the dome up to the ninth. And, with a little bit of work up to the 13th. And I incorporate these into my bass line. And I was like, okay, he's going to get me some hip shit. He's going to get me, past passing tones and past ninths and 13ths. And he starts off and he writes down every chord, but not the seventh or the ninth, 11th, or the 13th. Just the 1, 3, and 5. So he starts out with F, F, A, C. He writes that on his chart. Then he goes to B flat, D, F. Writes it out in his chart. And I noticed that he's only writing the basic bare bones triads, which is, sacrilegious in jazz circles. You don't play a basic bitch ass bass line. Now hold up. This is about chronic pain and being disabled. So don't click off just yet. But the whole video, it is 8 minutes and 39 seconds. He created brilliant bass lines using triads, 3-note chords. 3 notes. No sevenths, no ninths, no 13ths, no passing tones. The basic notes in every chord. And it was brilliant. And at first I was disappointed because I felt like I wasn't getting what I needed. But then I realized for all the shit that I throw in my bass lines and for the different ghost notes and doubles and triplets and all that shit that I do, and it's hip, don't get me wrong, but it will never sound as good as what Mr. Carter could do with 3 notes of every chord. And I think that with this ability, we try to overextend ourselves and we try to make things more complicated than they are. And we're trying to look for some tip or trick or hack when life is just about doing what's right in front of you. It's not about trying to get gratuitous, it's about getting the basics done. You know, like I said, I work out here on my floor. That's what I'm doing right now. And I've been doing this 6 days a week for over 3 years. And that's been a lot of commitment from me. And I didn't start with a fancy program. I didn't start with some great tutorial. It is as simple as buying heavy shit and lifting heavy shit every day. And once I got one workout down, then I would add another and another and just add to the basics of the workouts. And even like simple workouts that I do, you know, I'm about to go into my lateral raises. And for a while, I was doing lateral raises with 20 pounders and even 15 pounders. But what I noticed recently is that while, yeah, I was moving more weight, I was putting unnecessary stress on my shoulders and I wasn't getting a full range of motion. So I went back down to 10 pounds. And that was actually on the advice of a pretty major bodybuilder slash influencer, on shoulder raises. Let's get this out the way. Lowering the weight so you can get a full range of good motion. Doing the basic things. Doing them well. And doing them right. And being happy. And just because it's basic, it doesn't mean that it's not functional. And, what I learned today from that video of Maestro Ron Carter is the basics are where it's at. Anyway, you guys be easy, and I'll see you next time.